Yeah, I think it's not that it wasn't real before, but now it's real. You know, you get into full game planning mode and get that bonus practice in there. So I think our guys are juiced up, had a good weekend, you know, relaxed, ready to come back to work. So I thought we had good energy today.
You made any decisions, Zach, yet on captains? That might be headed yet?
Yeah, I have. I don't know if I'm ready to announce that yet. I'm not sure if we have other things in store first, but yeah, we've got our captain set.
What goes into, how much input does the coaching staff give at all about captainship?
None. We let our players vote on it, and they do a good job of that over the years.
Do you guys give them any guidance on what qualifications you might like when they're going through voting, on what guys you guys want to be? Ultimately, it's representation of the team. It
is. I mean, obviously, there's new faces here, and those guys have to learn as they go. But overall, I think we got enough returning guys that understand what we're looking for, and I haven't disagreed, you know, lately with any of the captains that we've had. So they've done a good job of that.
What's the biggest role during the course of the season that they play for you specifically in handling anything?
Yeah, they're voice of the locker room. And that doesn't mean that guys that aren't captains can't have that voice as well. But they're the guys I'll turn to. We don't do it every week, but that I'll turn to and we'll have discussions, things that are on my mind about practice or about the opponent we got or things I want to get done in the locker room. So, you know, extra voice, I guess you could say, that they do have a little bit of an obligation to speak up when something needs to be said. But again, there's so many other people in the locker room I can think of that aren't necessarily have the captain on their shirt that represent what that should be. And they do a great job of articulating thoughts they have to me and not shying away from that.
You have to be on the 53 to be a captain?
Yes. Everybody that's a captain this year is on the 53, but that doesn't mean that others didn't receive votes.
Do you always have to have a special teams guy or not?
No, you kind of let the vote go as it will. You know, I think sometimes it's usually pretty clear on where it needs to fall.
Top 6, top 8?
It just depends on how it all falls. Yeah. And so again, each year can be different that way. We don't set in stone what it's going to look like. You sort it out once the players have voted.
I'd like to have representation on both sides of the ball, though.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Don't want to have all offensive captains.
Yeah.
So Joseph Osai out of practice today on rehab field. Any update on his prognosis?
Just continue to take it day to day right now.
So you officially say day to day, but not week to week.
I'd say day to day.
Is that probably encouraging given kind of what that initially?
Yeah, I think everything has been encouraging.
The way guys were out there moving around today, do you feel like the way you handled it, two work days a day out, 2 work days a day out, whenever possible, you got benefit from it, that they came back pretty fresh today?
Yeah, I think our guys are in shape, which is a big key physically and mentally. You know, it's the physical part's always, and not physically like running, but physically conditioned, you know, from a hitting standpoint and the physicality of the contact. That's something that's certainly evolved for me over the years, and I feel like our guys are in a really good place right now, ready to sustain drives. You know, we've done a lot of work on that stuff, so I feel like they're in a good shape coming off this weekend.
So you're talking football shape, not cardiovascular necessarily, but
Mm-hmm.
football shape. Push and pull, get the attachments, all ligaments attachments and all that.
Yeah, I can't put myself in those shoes as you described. That's coming from memory, I can tell. But you know, just there's also the excitement element that comes into effect once you step on the field against an opponent, and it's a real game. You factor that into as well, your conditioning level, and so that's something I think, you know, we'll certainly have to get through as the game starts. That always happens, and our guys will.
In a couple of days before training camp started, I asked you about the idea of how daunting it is for a team who's played in the Super Bowl and the AFC Championship to have to start over. You don't get to go right back there. You have to do it all over again. You said that kind of gives the team a bit of an edge. Did you see that throughout training camp? Do you feel that on this team, that they're ready to restart what is a marathon to get back to where you want to go?
I feel like they're in the place they need to be right now. Now we just have to go show it on Sunday. And so, again, I really like what our guys are about. I really like the effort and the attention to detail they put forth in these last couple of weeks. And so feel very confident that we're going to get in a good week of work and be ready to go on Sunday.
You've said a few times, like, every team feels different. Have you learned any specific ways kind of with the vibe that maybe this team just naturally kind of feels different from previous years?
It's similar energy to what we've had in years past. I do feel that. And there's some young guys that bring some energy to the table as well. That's encouraging to see. So again, it's an exciting team. They're fun to be around, and it's good to come to work every day and see these guys.
What does Ted Karras bring to this team on and off the field?
Consistency, just again, he's always on edge about the scheme, about the game plan, about communicating with everybody. Always locked in. I think if you were looking for 2 words to describe Ted Karras, it's locked in, super focused, and so that's good to have from your center.
After losing week 1 last year to a divisional opponent, is there anything that you learned from the prep last year that goes into this year's game prep for week 1?
No, I think every opponent's different.
Zach, what have you noticed about the way Dax and Nick have played together in the preseason training camp, and what gives you confidence that they're going to be able to fulfill their roles going forward at a good rate? Yeah,
I think every rep has helped those guys. Just over the course of camp, they got a ton of them. Both stayed on the field quite a bit, which was good to see. And so you got all the work you wanted those guys to get. Now you just get a chance to go do it in the game.
And the players in the locker room that I've talked to said that their bodies have never felt better going into the season. And they obviously give you a lot of credit for that. I mean, that's your goal, obviously.
It's something we focus on every day. As we continue to look at the practice plans, what we're going to get done. It's why we really don't ever set the practice too far in advance. It's usually by week in training camp that we set the schedule, so that we're not thinking on July 25th, we're going to need this certain work on August 25th. You got to be able to respond to your team as it goes. And I think our coaches do a good job of giving me feedback. I think our players do a good job giving me feedback. And so we're able to get that done and feel like we're in a really good, healthy, well-conditioned place going into Sunday.
Brian, used the word more active coaching to talk about Burrow. What have you seen from him, kind of that side of his personality and his presence set forward?
I've always, I guess you feel it more this last week because he's been on the field more this last week, but it's something you always feel from him. I think that's what makes him great is he's not afraid to take the guys aside after a rep and give them even more coaching on exactly what he thinks, because ultimately that's what matters. I'm not the one out there on the field doing it. Callie's not. Troy Walters isn't. It's what the quarterback and the receivers, that chemistry that they have together. And so for him to take that ownership is critical. I think it's why we've had the success we've had with him at the helm, because he's not afraid to let those guys know how he wants it done.
What makes a successful week of practice for him this week as he gets ready for Sunday?
Just keep getting reps in, and I thought today was a really good day for him. It was encouraging to see. And so we'll just take it one day at a time.
When you're looking at your quality reps or the good reps, what are you kind of evaluating as you watch him today, and then maybe last week? What in your mind is a really good rep from him as he's getting back from that injury?
Completing the ball. She's done a lot of.
Is Cheeto playing on Sunday?
Yes.
Trevion Williams sounds really encouraged with where he's at. Same plan for him, like where he's at.
Yeah, we'll continue to go, but he's in a good place. He's healthy. He's ready to help us. Just continue to get him reps we can to get him up to speed. But I like where Trevion's at.
I mean, are you going to declare Burrow? Is he going to play for sure on Sunday?
He's just going to take it day to day right now.
Given the declaration on Cheeto, what's it like to have him out there, and how important is he to what y'all are doing defensively?
He's arguably one of the smartest corners in the league. I haven't coached every corner, but he's just got those instincts, that awareness. Physically as talented as anyone, and so there's a lot that he brings to the table that people see and people don't see, and so it's good to get him back, just him back in the huddle, him back out there taking reps. He really makes those receivers work for everything that they get. I know that they would tell you that, and so he's a great weapon to have back there.
Now that the safeties have had some time on task together back there at the training camp, how do you feel about how they progress?
Yeah, I feel good, and now we'll just get a chance to go see it happen. Nick's played a lot of football in this league for really good defense, won championships. Dax has been a part of what we're doing last year. So excited to see those guys work together.